Hello guys and welcome back. This is Miami Misplays, Zach, the Pervy Sage, teaching you guys the hero course. Now this episode is going to be about the key terms in which we're most likely going to be using as effects and understanding, and probably the hardest part about this game, to be honest. Well, most confusing part to understand in the beginning, and I think it steers some people away when they see all the different terms and don't remember or understand. So I'll try and break it down as easy as possible. Now the first card you're seeing here honestly has the two most common terms that you'll be using over almost every single turn, if not multiple times in a turn. Now the first term you'll see here is response. Response says, after you build this card, gain 1 health. So what responses are when the time has been met, or when the text has been met, that is when it activates. And that's the only thing that's necessary for responses. So after you build this card, gain 1 health. So that means whenever this card is moved from the card pool to the foundation, or to the staging area, I should say, that's considered building it. At that time, you would activate your response. And that's pretty much it. Responses are very self-explanatory, can be activated at whatever time they state they should be activated. So they don't have a specific time, whereas we're going to get into now, enhances. Enhances can only be activated after an attack is played when you enter what is called the enhanced step. Enhanced step is the time in which both players take turns activating their enhanced abilities on all their either staged foundation cards, attack cards, or other action cards that may have enhance. Now, when you activate your enhance, you'll notice that it'll say a time frame, your attack. It may have a specific time frame. This one says your attack, meaning it can only be played on your attack. It'll have a cost to be met, followed by a colon. So pretty much prior to the colon are the requirements to play the card. Flip is the cost, so that means this card would stay standing and flip face down. When a card is face down, it no longer has effects. That's the whole point. Otherwise, when face down, no matter if it's an attack, an asset, or foundation, while it's face down, it is considered a foundation. Just for a little bit of knowledge. Now, this one says, build 1 weapon, asset, or weapon foundation from your card pool face up. So again, during my attack, I can flip this card and build a weapon foundation from we'll talk about this because it's a weapon foundation. I can build this from the card pool to my staging area. After I activate my enhance, my opponent is now allowed to activate their enhance. Enhances are not something like in other games that you may think create chains or resolve backwards. You activate the enhance and you resolve the enhance. Once it's resolved, it moves to the opponent's turn to play another enhance. Now, the only time that is not true is responses. If responses are triggered in the means of or as a result to an enhance, then you would trigger the response before your opponent would get a chance to play their enhance. AKA, with this card specifically, if I had another copy in the card pool, and I use this effect to flip this and bring the same card from my card pool to the back in the staging area, before my opponent would play this enhance, I would activate my response to build this card, or after this card is built, to gain 1 HP. Now, those two, responses or enhances, are again the most common occurring keywords that you probably need to know if you want to know at least the fundamentals of the game. You will find things that do combo off with them. You will find, I guess I could say, like compound phrases of them. For one, we'll take Erase from Eraserhead's deck. Notice that he says Eraserhead response. When you see a character's name within a response, that means you require that character's name to be on your character in order to play that response and to be able to trigger it. All right. And then for enhances, there are other enhances like Deadlock first enhance. That means Deadlock requires your opponent to have at least 11 or more foundations in order to play the Deadlock effect. This does have first enhance, which means it also has to be your very first enhancement on your turn, on your side of the enhanced step in order to activate this effect. So it does have a lot of requirements in order for it to be triggered. Deadlock is already kind of difficult because again, you have to wait for your opponent to have 11 foundations, which most opponents will learn to play around that and try to keep themselves at 10 foundations, or make sure your field doesn't have Deadlock or a way to manipulate that. And then first enhance, you will see on other cards. That just mean it has to be the first enhancement to be able to be activated. And then the last enhance that you're going to want to see about would be combo enhance. Combo enhances require that the last card be played meet the I shouldn't say be played. The cards to the left of this card must be in the order that is listed in the combo on the upper characteristics. So where this says combo, I must have a weapon and a foundation, and no, they cannot be together. They have to be two separate cards. I need to have them in that order and then play this card in order to activate this combo enhance. Now this one is a much more complicated and more difficult, not complicated, more difficult version to play. Let's take a look at create capture net. This one does require only a foundation to previously be played prior to this card. So that way when you play this card, you can activate combo enhance. At that time, you can then trigger its effect, which is stun 2, or this attack gains stun 2. Now remember, enhance effects are only once, and then your opponent gets to play their enhance. That being said, with this specific enhance, combo enhance, I gain stun 2, but I cannot activate stun 2. I will get into what stun 2 is in a moment as we cover what I call characteristic enhances, which are enhances that are within the actual characteristics. Following that, I think the next one I would like to bring up is form. So form is a keyword for pretty much meaning that you play the card during the time that you would naturally play cards. So it is not during the attack phase, I guess you can call it, or enhance step, where you would play enhancements. It would be at the time in which you would play it from your hand to just activate its form effect. It's pretty much a straightforward play to activate card. No special conditions usually have to be met, and then you can trigger its effect. And again, you play it, form, discard one momentum is the cost, and then you activate the effect to discard up to 3 cards from your card pool. Now, the last one I'll get into is breaker. Well, the last one I'll get into before the characteristics, I like to call them. Breaker is a keyword that states when this card is used to block an attack and does block the attack, your opponent's next card is going to cost 1 more difficulty to play that card. So that means if they're going to play after they attack once and you block, if they would like to attack again, not only do they have to pay the progressive difficulty and the card's cost, they're going to have to pay 1 additional cost. There are breakers 2 and 3. Well, 2, I haven't seen a 3 yet, but there are breakers 2 and that you can increase the value, and your opponent will just have to play that much more, or pay that much more in order to play those cards. And now I'll get into the characteristics enhancements. There are 3 of them that I've noticed so far, we'll get into, which is EX, Powerful, and Stun. Now, we'll go back right to the stun. Now, stun says, it's the reason why you gain stun, because that is an abbreviated characteristic that essentially says, enhance, your opponent commits X, number that is next to the word stun. So in this situation, stun would make your opponent commit 2. Your opponent is the one who picks and commits those specific cards that they would like to use. That is all for stun. There's honestly no cost to be paid unless stated otherwise. Going into powerful. Now this pretty much is an abbreviated enhance, discard 1 or more momentum and gain attack equal to X, where X equals the number next to powerful up to the amount of momentum discarded. So for powerful 2, if I discard 1 momentum, I get plus 2 power. If I discard 3 momentum, I get plus 6 power. You cannot continuously activate powerful. It is, again, 1 enhance per enhance step that you can activate and enhance unless stated otherwise. But you can, at one time, burst off 2 or 3 or 4 momentums at one time. And the following is pretty much an identical version. EX. EX is the same as powerful, where it would you would discard a momentum, it would say enhance, discard momentum, gain X speed. This will increase your speed stat. Now again, same conditions. When you pitch 1, you'll gain 2 speed. If you pitch 3, you'll gain 6 speed. And again, you can only activate and enhance once per enhanced step, unless stated otherwise. So if you wanted to do more than 1, you have to do it at one time. You would not trigger this just once and then come back to it again within the same attack. You would have to you would have to discard multiple momentum at a singular time. And for now, I believe that pretty much covers most of the keywords in the game. If there's anything else I can think of, please leave a comment if I missed it. This is your hero course, lesson 2. Next, I'll be covering how attack and defenses work regarding the shields and the directions of the attacks and the requirements and checks that have to be met. Thank you. This is your Pervy Sage from Miami Misplays, Zach. Have a good one.